That's the secret, guys. And it's gonna be so good. All right, gang, I am so excited to make this recipe for you today. Why? Because it is my recipe, lemon blueberry cake. And you know, I've done lemon blueberry scones, I've done lemon blueberry muffins. So why not a lemon blueberry cake? But all of the recipes that I were looking at just used a little bit of lemon juice. And a lot of times, not even in the cake batter. It was just in the filling or in the icing. I want it to have more of a lemon essence throughout the whole experience. The cake, the filling, the icing. It should all have lemon and it should all have blueberry. Now this cake is not going to be light and airy like you would expect like an angel food cake to be. This is going to be more like a pound cake. So it's not quite that dense, but it's more along those lines. And you're absolutely going to love it. Now in just a second, you'll see what my secret weapon is on giving this the perfect lemon taste. So let's get started. Can't have a cake. Well, okay, so I do know that there are some flourless cakes, but come on, is it really cake? So we're gonna start off with 2 cups of all-purpose flour. This does not have to be sifted. Then we need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Now you may choose to use self-rising flour and just not worry about the baking powder, not worry about the salt. That's fine, you do you. I'm not messed up about it. And then 1 1/4 teaspoon of salt. There we go. All those things together are going to help our cake to rise up just like we want. So I'm just going to take a fork, stir this together here. Now I'm going to move that aside. Now, if you know me, you know I love sourdough recipes, okay? So this one is a sourdough lemon blueberry cake. So it's going to be using, you can call it sourdough discard, but really it's unfed starter. The difference, I use discard for when people are first developing their starter. And in the beginning, your bacteria are not set, the yeast is not doing what it's supposed to, so it's actually not good to use that product. Later on, when your starter is mature, then it's just unfed starter. I could literally take this in this jar that I've been accumulating for about a week, feed it, and it's active again. Okay, no problems. It's a safe product. Also, to make it even safer, I keep mine in the fridge. I'm gonna go ahead and do my sugar first. 1.5 cups of sugar. Now my grandma was a duck cook. Any of your grandmas the same? Mamas, whatever, sisters, they really don't have a recipe, they just dump it and they're like, oh, that looks about right. I do eyeball some things, but I'm trying to get them down to a measurement for you. Then we need 2/3 cup of starter. You notice I just go ahead and set my measuring cup in here so that if it flows over, I'm like, yeah, it's all right, not gonna hurt anything. Now, why the sourdough? Gives it a little bit of a tangy taste. The longer you leave it in the fridge, the more sour it gets. Now I'm going to add my 3 eggs. One tablespoon of vanilla. 1/8 teaspoon almond extract. That is just going to help to wake all of those flavors up, and it's going to be so good. 1/2 cup of lemon curd. That's the secret, guys. It's going to give it that nice, sweet lemon taste throughout the cake, but it's also going to give it that extra moistness, right? Now, I did not make this lemon curd. I could have, but I just wanted, you know, to be able to use it today. That's so good. It's just like lemon pie. That is so good. We're gonna mix that well. A little bit more. Go. In my saucepan, I'm gonna need 2/3 cup milk. This is whole milk, by the way. And 1/3 cup coconut oil. And then I need 4 tablespoons or 56 grams of butter. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in. We're gonna come over here and put it on the stove and stir it until it's nice and melted. We want it to be warm and melty. We're gonna turn that down, just medium. Now while that's doing that, it's a good time for me to take my pan and go ahead and spread. Make sure and get that middle. Now you don't have to use this pan, you can use two 8-inch round, two 8-inch rectangle, you know, whatever. I'm using this pan because I don't have two of the same size. Easier for me, right? And my oven has been preheating at 325. Just a little bit more to be melted. There we go. All right, now that is ready. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is add the warm mixture to the already wet ingredients. Use the hand mixer to gently, so I'm gonna do it on low, gently mix it in. Scrape on the side. There we go. Now, you guessed it, time to add these dry ingredients. I'm gonna kind of go ahead and fold those in so the flour doesn't go everywhere. Because the flour's all over my cabinet, it's not in the cake. Less cake. Nobody wants less cake. There we go. So now I just want to go ahead and dump this right into my cake pan. And it's going in the oven. I'm going to check on it at 30 minutes with a toothpick. The toothpick should come out clean when it's done. Now it's time to add the second main ingredient of cake. There's lemon and then there's blueberry. So we're going to need 2 1/2 cups of blueberries, and I have chosen fresh. You can use fresh or frozen. If they are frozen, be sure that they have thawed first. And a half. There we go. Now I need a 1/2 cup of sugar. And then in a separate bowl, I'm going to juice 2 lemons. I'll get my forearm working. Okay, and go wash my hands. So now we are going to pour this right on in, making sure there were no seeds in there, and there were not. Now we've got to go back over to the stove, and we want to heat that until the blueberries are soft, the sugar is melted, and the sauce is starting to thicken just a bit. So I really just want to bring this to a simmer. And so I've got the heat right now in between high and medium until it's simmering, then I'll turn it down. The sugar's already melted. Turn the heat down between medium and low. Those blueberries are still quite firm. I really want them to soften up. All right, so the blueberries have softened up. And the mixture has thickened ever so slightly. We're gonna go ahead and puree this. And it's gonna go back in the saucepan. Yum. It is not completely smooth. I would have to run it through a food mill to do that, right? And I'm not really interested in that. I want it to have some texture to it. Now, it's gonna go back on the heat. Okay, so I want this to come to a rolling boil, so it's on medium heat, and then I'm gonna reduce it and let it simmer. Not quite a rolling boil yet. You wanna keep it on medium because anything sugary will scorch. Stirring often. There we go. Now we got it. Okay, reduce heat. All right, so we're gonna set that aside. That's gonna continue to get thicker as it cools. All right, I'm gonna take a spoonful of this blueberry lemon stuff. It's so funny that I said a spoonful because it's this spoon, which I guess is probably 2 tablespoons. And I'm actually going to let it spread out. I'm gonna set it down here in my freezer. Just want it to cool off because we're gonna use that to flavor our icing. So my butter has been sitting here at room temperature. So I need 3/4 cup of butter. I'm just gonna slice it up. And then I need a full cup of room temperature cream cheese. 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. I'm gonna put this dab of blueberry lemon mixture in here. Can you guys taste this yet? I'm actually gonna use some of these leftover lemons just to squeeze just a few more drops of lemon in there. All right, here we go. Look how pretty. Is that not gorgeous? So the toothpick test came out clean. So now we're gonna set this on the stovetop, let it cool for 20 minutes, then I'll dump it out onto a wire rack. Let it continue cooling. All right, so one of the quandaries that I had was figuring out where I wanted this blueberry filling to go. Clearly I could take this, I could make 2 layers, just bake a second one, put it on top, or I could take some dental floss and cut this in half. But then I thought, wait, what about those poke cakes? You know what I'm talking about, the ones that have chocolate or something, and you go around poking holes and then pour it over. And I was like, that's it, that's what I wanna do. Poked holes all on the top. So what we're gonna do is pour it right from the bowl, just over the top. All right, so now I'm gonna take this, put it in the fridge for a couple hours. I really want it to cool off before I put buttercream decoration on it, okay? What a mess that turned into, but it's gonna be fine. While we were waiting, I did something new. I didn't include this part because this is not these are not my recipe. I candied some lemons for decoration. So let's get started with this icing. Good, that's all set up really good. That is spreading good. A cake decorator, I am not. Y'all need to know if I can do this, you at home can do it too. This is actually a lot prettier than I thought it would be. Just because I know me. Just to give it a little bit of texture. And if you out there want to give me a lesson in cake decorating, I would be up for it. You get to come here though. I don't have time to go anywhere. I think it turned out pretty. I'm like kind of impressed with myself right now.
Pretty impressive.
Huh.
I'm surprised myself. No offense.
All right, guys. All we got left on this video is tasting it. So we'll see how that goes. All right, baby.
All right, here we go.
I'm ready to know. Ready to know if I did good?
That's very good.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.